And joining us here in just a few, our Chuck and Pam with a look at new movies. But look who's here now. If you're looking to make a mark with your craft projects, let's try stamping, Tim.
Why not? Joining us in our creative corner is Daisy Lane, Scrapbooking and Craft Mall in Mattoon. Karen Briles is here to teach us how to stamp.
Okay, but Tim, I brought you a tool. So that makes everything better, right?
Tools help.
Tools help.
I'm all about that.
So it's like the evolution of stamping is what I brought. You know, we're all familiar with this.
The rubber stamp.
Even Tim is familiar with
I am
the
familiar
rubber
with them.
stamp.
Don't use them very often, but familiar.
It's been around. If you've been crafting any time, you've had this in your toolbox. But as with all tools, as they've evolved, we've really gotten away from some things that were hassles with these. And one of them is removing the wood. The wood is the expensive part of a stamp. It's also the part that costs a lot to ship. So you're paying for that every time. So what manufacturers have done is figured out ways to use stamps with removable blocks. And so they work similar to a super duper window cling. You can stick it on and then remove it. There's still the red rubber, and there's also what's called an acrylic or a polymer stamp that's kind of a little bit more flimsy, but still gets the job done. And then you would be able to stick these on an acrylic block, peel them off, reuse them multiple times, and save money along the way.
So one block for all the stamps as opposed to each stamp having its own.
Correct. And they do come in different sizes of blocks. You can get smaller blocks for smaller stamps. But the cream of the crop, if you're going to be doing a lot of stamping, is a stamp press. Because with this system and still stamping, you have to deal with imperfections. Maybe you didn't press so hard. Maybe you wobbled a little bit on your stamp. And then to try and realign your stamp is a real big hassle, and you've got a lot of ruined projects. So I brought a card today that's so fitting for the weather. It says, it's a flip-flop kind of day.
Oh,
I'm hopeful. I forget. I'm done with winter cards.
Soon,
we are moving on to summer. And so I wanted to show everybody today how the stamp press works to make a card like this. Now, one other benefit to the stamp press is you're going to be able to line up both sets of stamps on this project. So the flip-flop and the wording is two different stamps. But what we're going to be able to do is stamp everything at one time. And so what I've done here is I pre-cut my piece of paper that's going to fit my card. I have magnets that are going to position the card or the piece of paper where I'm going to make the stamped image exactly how I want it on the thing. Then I'm going to lay out my stamps. Stamp side down, and so I got the flip-flops on the top, and I got my sentiment down here.
So we're going to pretend you already added the ink?
Nope, didn't add the ink yet. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to attach these clean stamps to the top of my press just with a little pressure. So now when I ink it with just a little pat, 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 then I'm going to be able to press down and stamp. Now, we're still going to give it some pressure, but what's really nice about that, if I go, oh man, I didn't press that quite hard enough, and actually on my sample I did upside down, but you can see here where the image didn't come out as crisp as I want. You know what? Not a big deal. All you have to do is re-ink it because nothing has moved, and you're going to be able to apply your pressure, maybe go a little bit where it didn't get so well, and now you've got a perfectly stamped image.
And if you're going to do a bunch of the same cards, you can do it over and over again.
At heart, Tim, I know you are.
I'm an efficient person at heart.
I say
if it applies to crafting.
Now on your Christmas cards, and by January
You know the last time I actually sent out a Christmas card?
What if you
I don't know the answer to that question, but it's been
probably
decades.
never.
Maybe never.
But I'm telling you, this is a game changer. It makes it kid-friendly. It makes mass quantity possible. And then
But then how did you add the color and all of that?
Right. So the color is using alcohol markers. You could use colored pencils. You could use watercolor paint. Now that you have your stamped image, you're going to be able to go back, add the details, and finish your card. So you could sit without realigning the stamp every time. You could stamp 50 of these and have a nice project. And I do want to point out, too, sometimes customers come in and they're frustrated. Their image isn't crisp, and it has nothing to do with the stamp. It has nothing to do with the block. It has to do with the ink. So you do want to make sure you're using the right kind of ink for the right project. So I just brought 4 blacks. They're all different, and they're all used for different things.
And I bet you can find them them at Daisy Lane Scrapbooking and
I would
Craft Mall
imagine
in
that's the
Mattoon.
case.
We'll even teach you how to do it.
There you
Come in for
go.
a personal class.
Sounds
You might
good.
need the personal help.
I
The
will check out our website.
The evolution of the stamp. Fantastic.
Quite something. Who knew? All those details, where you can find them, when you can find them. You can get your own personal class. All those details. CILiving.tv.
Thanks, Karen.